Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. As you can see from the title, today we are here to review the My Atlantis palette from W7. This is my first palette review for a while, and in fact I have had this palette in my possession for a few weeks now. I was gonna film this video a couple of weeks ago and then I got sick. I had a really bad cold, like I actually had to stay in bed for it. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like after the last 2 years of, you know, staying at home, wearing masks, being like extra careful with everything, I didn't get sick during that time. So now when I do get sick, I'm like, oh my god, like I feel like it's so much worse. I forgot how horrible being sick was, but I'm finally better. I finally have the energy to sit down and film. So today we are going to talk about the My Atlantis palette. I still haven't shown it to you guys. This is really pretty packaging actually. I really like the look of it. So yeah, I'm going to talk you through the details of the palette. We're going to do some swatches. I'm going to show you how I did this look. There are going to be timestamps below in the description box if you do want to skip ahead to any section. But before we jump in, I do just need to give a quick disclaimer before I forget, because I know I will otherwise. W7 did send me this palette in PR. Thank you very much guys, because I know I haven't posted in a while, so I fully expected to just like stop receiving PR from anyone. This is not, however, a sponsored video. I'm not getting paid for this. The only thing I have with W7 is a discount code, which I will put up on the screen now if it still works. I think it gets you 10% off, and that is not an affiliate code, so I don't make any money from that either. It just means that you guys can get a nifty little discount. So now that that's out of the way, let's start by talking about the details of the palette. All right, so here it is, the My Atlantis palette, the latest 18 pan pressed pigment palette from W7. This is a dupe for the Huda Beauty Rose Quartz palette, and I'm just going to show you the inside straight away. This is what it looks like. Very pink. That was my first thought when I saw it. You do get a mirror and a double-ended brush, and as you can see, we've got plenty of different textures going on. We've got the marbled shades over here, which I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of. I don't really see the point because you end up mixing them all in together anyway, so they might as well just be that shade. They're just kind of there to look pretty. And we have this shade here. I have gotten my fingers in this already, but it is that sort of, that weird transparent with the little balls of pigment inside that I think she did for the first time in the Naughty palette, and everyone always kind of describes it as looking like diseasey ridden things. It just has a very weird appearance. It puts a lot of people off. I know that this is a dupe. I know that W7 are reproducing exactly what Huda has done. We don't have to reproduce everything. Like, this doesn't have to be in here every time. Now, price and cost per gram wise, of course this is W7, so it is going to be an affordable option. You get 18 shades in the palette and the total weight is 18 grams. So you're looking at 1 gram per shadow, and it retails for $9.95, giving you a cost per gram of 55p per gram. When I plug this into my spreadsheet, I then always order it by cost per gram, and I realized that the cost per gram didn't match up the other 18 pan palettes. So I went back on the website, did a little bit of investigating, and they have all increased in price. It's always a little bit disappointing when brands do put their prices up. However, we are still staying pretty affordable with the cost per gram. We're on a similar cost to the Beauty Bay 20 pan palettes, and still a little bit cheaper than some of the Revolution palettes. Now, while I don't have the Huda palette to give you a comparison in terms of the eyeshadows themselves, I did just grab the prices because it's always important to see how the dupes compare to the real thing. It does retail for £58, which is a lot of money to spend on an eyeshadow palette. You actually get 17.35 grams for the entire palette, so you actually get a bit less than 1 gram per shadow. That means that our cost per gram is £3.34, which, while, you know, there are other palettes out there that do have a higher cost per gram, that is what, 6 times the cost of this palette per gram. So that is quite a big difference. So if you're on a budget, dupes and where it's at. And then just in terms of the back of the palette, we have our ingredients all listed here for each different formula. We have the shelf life after opening, which is 18 months, and the palette is also vegetarian and vegan friendly. I mean, it's pretty clear that I've already ruined some of the eyeshadows by sticking my fingers into it, but I don't know what they all look like yet. So let's jump into the swatches. First off, we have a marble shade, which is called City. I don't have much to say about that one. We then have 2 mattes. So we have the shade Speculate and the shade Island. Lovely pigmentation on those mattes. Really off to a good start with those two. Now we have another marble shade, which, ooh, looks a lot more interesting than the first one. This is Poseidon. Ooh, okay, that one's nice. Then we have Erupt. Oh, that is a lovely metallic. I need to use this at some point. Then we have Myth. Oh, do you know what? Looking at that one in the palette, it just looks like a pink, but it does have a blue reflect to it, doesn't it? Oh, okay. There are some really interesting shades in this palette. Back to a matte, we now have Ocean. wow, the pink literally just crumbled off. But that's a really nice matte shade. I like the look of that. Then we have Paradise. Oh my god, these are so reflective. And then everyone's favorite shade, this is Sea Fire. So that's the Vaseline shade. Then we have Empire, just a light pink. We have Immortal, which is like a very classic blue-brown pigment. And then we have Cleto, a slightly darker pink. Oh, they are so pretty, guys. Look at them. That is stunning. They're so reflective, so shiny. There's some really interesting shades. This one is so boring, this marble shade, compared to anything that's come after it. I mean, this one, Poseidon. This one as well I want to use. Even this one. I feel like this shouldn't be such an interesting shade, but it really, really is. And then this Immortal shade. Okay, they're really, really pretty. They really, really are. All right, next is Trident. That is lovely pigmentation again on that one. Eden. Plato. Do you know what? Some of these shades are very unassuming in the palette. Then we have Utopia. It literally looks wet on my arm. That is gorgeous. Atlas and Lost. These are so pretty, guys. I am a little bit lost for words right now, guys. So, you know what? We need to see these shades in action. So let's just go straight into the tutorial so that you can see how these all perform. All right, guys. So as you can see, I've just gone ahead and primed my eyes with my P. Louise base, and I've also used my Pink Honey for my brows. Quick note before we jump in, actually, because if you've seen my last video, you know that I had a nightmare with my Wonder Wax that just wasn't working anymore, and I said I'd buy a new one. I went to order one and it was like sold out everywhere, but then I realized I had an original super hold that I hadn't touched yet, so I've used that today and I forgot how good it was. Like, the brows look really, really good right now, so hopefully today the brows actually stay stuck down. So let's jump in. What are we going to use? I have to say, when the Huda palette came out, it was the first Huda palette that I'd wanted in ages, and I was really tempted to drop the money, but I'm looking at the matte shades right now. I'm actually quite uninspired, and that's not on W7, that's on the original Huda colour scheme. I feel like her mattes are just kind of always the same tones. Anyway, I am gonna take a Morphe M124 and I'm gonna go in with the shade Speculate. And today we are going for a very, very rounded shape. Oh, that is good pigmentation right off the bat. I did take quite a lot on my brush. I did kind of load it up, but I've just gone back in and tapped it in quite lightly. Okay, we're off to a pretty good start. So I'm just going underneath as well, just because it's going to help me really finish off that rounded shape. Okay, that's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm just gonna take a Zoeva, oh my god, what is this called? 231? Yeah, 231. You can tell I haven't been keeping up with filming this year because this is a brush I use in every video and I couldn't remember the name. So just giving everything a quick blend. Now I think I might end up getting a little bit of patchiness here at the front, but I think that is more my application than it is the shadows, just because you can see how much smoother it's looking on this side, and I think I just went in a bit too strong on this side. We'll see how it goes. I think next I'm gonna take my M456 from Morphe. I don't know how you say this one. Cleto, I don't know what that is. And I'm gonna blend that out. So the goal here is to make sure that this look doesn't get really big. I do want to keep it pretty small. So that's why I've switched into like a smaller, thinner blending brush. I think this is gonna be quite pretty. Now, I know I said literally like a second ago that I thought that Huda's mattes were a little bit boring. However, while I don't think this is the most exciting selection of mattes, and I think it could be doing a bit more, they seem to have a good amount of depth. And I think they would work really well with the Mercury Retrograde palette. That one really was lacking in depth. I think there was like 2 dark shades. So I feel like these could work quite well together. I have got a little bit of patchiness here at the front, but I feel like I like the blend of the 2 shades together. It's like a really dusky pink. Yeah, you can see I'm definitely getting a smoother blend on this side than I am on this one, which is just something that always happens. It's just typical that this is the eye that I kind of put forward and it's never the one that goes the best. So now I'm just going to take a clean M456, and this time I'm taking the shade Empire, which is a very pretty light pink. It's a pretty pink. It is softening things out. I also feel like this one isn't fully matte. I feel like it's added like a shimmeriness to it. I feel like I just want to soften the edges out a little bit. So, because we don't have a lighter shade or a beige shade, I'm just going to take my NARS Light Reflecting Loose Powder. I think I'm just going to take that on an M433, so still by Morphe. I'm just going to run that over the edge, just to soften it out. So now I'm going to take a bit more of Speculate, just deepening it up a little. Then into Clito. So really just kind of blending over the top of it, keeping everything really soft and rounded. And then follow it up with Empire. And then that little bit of loose powder right around the edge again. Alright, here is our blend, and I do actually really like the way that it looks right now. Again, I think this one just looks a little bit rough around the edges, especially at the front, but you can tell that this one is just a lot smoother, so that's telling me that's user error rather than the palette. They are pressed pigments, so they do just go on so strong, so just be careful. Don't do what I do and pack on way too much product in one go, basically. So now I do want to deepen it up a little, so I'm going back in with my M124, and this time I'm going to use Trident, which is our deeper shade. That's kind of going to go underneath, sort of more in the crease, but still following that really nice rounded shape, just because I want a really nice amount of contrast. And then just in with a little bit more Speculate, still on my Zova 231, just to blend it out. And then again a little bit of Clito. And then again, a tiny bit of Empire, just really softly. And then the loose powder. Alright, so far this blend, I am really liking, guys. I really do. It's got so much depth. If you guys saw my video where I compared the Huda Mercury Retrograde to the W7 version, my big issue with both palettes was with the matte shades in that one, because I had no depth and it was causing me like issues with inspiration and that sort of thing. I know I said that the mattes in Huda palettes are a bit boring, and to be fair, I do think there could be a bit more variety in this. I feel like you could have like a couple of other shades to make it a bit more interesting. But in terms of this blend and the depth, I actually really like it. I feel like we actually have enough variety in this palette to create this sort of look. I'm really happy with how this is looking so far. So we're gonna move on to the lid. I think first I'm just gonna take a bit more of Clito and I'm gonna bring that underneath this time. I might even just whack it all over the lid quickly, just a really light wash. What I'm going to start by doing is taking the shade Seafire, which is that weird diseasey looking shade. I'm not even sure that I ever actually used the one in the previous Huda palette dupe, the Naughty palette. I can't remember the name of the W7 one, but I will link it up in the cards if you're interested. I don't think I ever actually used that one, and it dried out really quickly. So I feel like I'd rather have an actual eyeshadow in there. But I saw Make Me Up Missa when she reviewed the Rose Quartz palettes ages ago. She used that as a base on her lid, so that's what I'm gonna do now. So I'm gonna go in with my finger. I mean, it just feels like Vaseline. Oh, so it has actually got a really pretty glimmer to it, which I didn't expect. So I'm not mad. It definitely has lifted the colour underneath. I'm just gonna have to take my finger again. I'm gonna go into the shade Utopia. I'm just gonna pat it on top. Oh, can you guys see that? I hope it's picking up on camera. It is absolutely stunning. Just a really pretty pink and blue iridescent shade. That is actually really pretty, guys. So now I'm just gonna go back into a little bit of Clito. And I'm gonna bring in a little bit on the outer and inner corner. Not to cover it up too much, but just to create a bit more of a halo effect. This is so pretty, guys. I am obsessed. Oh, that's really, really nice. Right, okay, so I've now got glitter all over my fingers. I'm just gonna take a Morphe M431 and I've picked up some more of the Vaseline shade. I'm gonna pop that on the inner corner. And then on a Morphe M506, I'm now gonna take the shade Lost. Look at that on the inner corner. Oh! Oh my God, you guys. Everything is just super pretty and pink and sparkly and I'm really, really here for it. And then you know what, just on the same brush, gonna take some of it on the brow bone as well. A sparkly brow bone's still acceptable, I don't even know. Alright, so finishing touches, I am going to start off with my Clinique High Impact Liquid Liner. This is the black one, and we're going to go for a really skinny, as you can see, really quite straight liner. I'm going to bring it in as well. It's just going to create a really nice line. And then just where this look is pretty pink right now, I haven't ended up using some of the more blue turquoisey shades in the palette, but I did want to tie it back to it. So I'm going in with Electric Empire by Urban Decay, which is my favourite. Look at how stunning that is. It's so creamy, so pigmented, so glittery. Oh, I am obsessed and it just really, really complements this. All right, I still need to do mascara, lashes, and then I do also want to add some gems, but I like to do it when the rest of my makeup is on. So let me just go and do the rest of my face and then we'll come back and finish this off together. All right, guys, so all of my base products are done. I've tried to go for something really glowy, a little bit extra, lots of glitter, lots of pink, lots of cream products, just because I feel like it was really, really needed with this look. Everything that I've used will be listed and linked down below if you guys want to check anything out. I also think I'm gonna go without lashes again today. I've used, I don't know where I've put it, but I used my NARS Climax mascara. I really, really built it up. And there's just something that I'm really liking about this look without fake lashes, which about a year ago I would have said would never happen, but I just really, really like how it's looking. So anyway, let's finish it up. I'm gonna grab these gems that I've got from Amazon that have got different colors in them. I think I'm gonna be using the lilac and the light pink. So what I'll just do is use my Duo lash glue. This is one with a little brush tip on the end. Dot it around and then literally just plonk the gems on it. It is that straightforward. Alright, so that is now it with gems on. Hopefully I was in frame for most of that. I have no idea if I was or not. What I've done is I've made sure both sides are symmetrical, but I inverted the colours. So where I used a purple on this side, I used a pink on the other, and vice versa for the other ones, just because I thought it would add like a cute little twist to it, basically. Alright, I'm gonna zoom you out a little bit, just because we have one more product to try. With the palette, W7 also sent the My Atlantis lip gloss. Does it have a name? It just says My Atlantis on there. It's vegetarian and vegan friendly, and you're getting 4 mils of product, and I completely forgot to look up the price. Give me 1 second, guys. So it looks like it's £4.50, so not very expensive, and it's described as non-sticky, high shine gloss with a soft and natural pink colouring with a delicate holographic colour shift finish. I've just swatched it there on my hand. I don't know if you guys can even see. There's not much showing up. There's not a lot of colour to it. So let me just find some sort of base to put underneath it first. I'm gonna go in with Anti-Gravity by MUA. You're mine, mine, mine. It's right. It's right now. Why are you hiding? Tell me what must I do? Come to you. And now I'm gonna go in with the gloss. I mean, it looks like a clear lip gloss to me. I was kind of thinking we'd have like the same kind of, you know, multi-dimensional effect that we have on the lid, but I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. To me, this just looks like a clear lip gloss. It is comfortable. It's definitely very comfortable because it is non-stick as described. I just don't know if I'd call it high shine, and I really thought it was just gonna do like I really thought it was going to do a lot more. Alright guys, here we go. Obviously you've already seen the finished look, but here it is zoomed out so that you can see all of it in all its glory, because I'm just going to say I am absolutely obsessed with this look. I adore how it came out. The shimmers, oh, just everything about this look came out so good. And then I was like, I just have to do this extra glowy pink skin. As always, I can just see that it's not showing up on camera in the same way, which is always so frustrating, but I really do love how this one came out. Time for some final thoughts on the My Atlantis palette. You know what guys, I think I'm gonna go out on a limb and I'm gonna say that this might be my favorite palette that W7 have done this year. And there have been quite a few palettes from them this year. I feel like I have tried a lot. The Howdy palette was definitely my top palette before this. I love it, I've been using it so much. But where they're dupes for Urban Decay palettes are never pressed pigments, I feel like the shimmers, they're just not giving what this palette is giving basically. This is absolutely stunning. I think I went into this review a little bit apprehensive, just because as I mentioned, when the original Huda palette came out, I loved the way it looked. I saw Make Me Up Mrs. video on it and I was like, I really want this palette, I need it in my life. And then I opened up the palette and I looked at the colours. It doesn't look that interesting. It looks quite unassuming, but actually this is really nice. It was really beautiful to work with. Some of these metallics and shimmers, I mean, I think they're some of the best that W7 might have put out. The only exception might be this one up here. Obviously I have only swatched it, I haven't used it on the eye yet, but I thought the swatch looked a bit boring, whereas the other ones looked really nice. And the mattes, again, I really thought they were just gonna be a bit boring, all a bit same, but in the swatches, I felt like there were just some really interesting tones in there. Overall, guys, this palette is just a really pleasant surprise. I really didn't expect to enjoy this look as much as I did, but I'm obsessed. I really am obsessed. If you're thinking about it for yourself, if you're thinking you really want the Huda palette but you can't afford it, or for a gift for someone else, it is really gorgeous. I'm really pleased with it. I really think they've outdone themselves and you're definitely not gonna break the bank with this one. If you are thinking about getting the lip gloss to go with it, I would skip it. I'm really not sort of seeing the iridescence. It is very comfortable. There is no stickiness, but it's just not really doing what it says on the tin. But the palette for me, 10 out of 10. I mean, if I really had to dock some points, maybe I'd take 0.5 for that first marble shade that is very nice, and also maybe just the Vaseline Petri dish looking shade, because I know that's going to dry out. I'd rather have a different shade in there, but overall very happy with the palette. Alright guys, well that is it for today's video, and I really hope as always that you enjoyed it. If you did, then do please make sure to give it a big thumbs up, leave me a comment letting me know what you thought of it, and if you haven't already, then do please make sure to hit the subscribe button as well as the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any of my future videos, and I'll see you all on the next one. Bye guys!
To let go of all of the nonsense that you put me through. I give it up to you. I do it